First step, decide to go on a Disney cruise. Second step, decide when to go on a Disney cruise. There is a lot to think about when it comes to step 2, and luckily you're in the right place. We're going to figure out when it makes sense for you to cruise with Disney in 2024 here on DFV Guide. Hey everybody, it's AJ for Disney Food Blog. So Disney Cruise Line sails their ships all year long, but that doesn't mean every season is going to be the perfect one for you. There are several cruising factors you've got to consider, both positive and negative, that are attached to every cruising season. So today we're laying out the entire 2024 DCL schedule that we know of so far, so you can get a good idea of when you should book that dream cruise, whether it be winter, spring, summer, or fall. Now, whatever season you end up landing on, be sure to pick up our free Ultimate Guide to Disney Cruises so you can have a digital companion that'll help you figure out your planning timeline, what you need to pack before you go, and provide you with digital planning worksheets too. You can grab your Disney Cruise Guide right now by scanning the QR code you see on the screen or by heading over to disneyfoodblog.com/cruise planning right after this. Now, before we time travel into 2024, let me give you some solid Disney cruising advice that you're going to need to know before you start booking your trip. First, prices vary a lot. There are a lot of factors to consider when you're booking a Disney cruise, and each of these factors can determine how much or how little you're going to end up paying in the end. To get a good idea of how much your particular cruise is going to cost, you've got to start asking yourself the following questions. First, how many nights do you want to sail? What kind of stateroom do you want to sleep in? Which destination do you want to travel to? What Disney cruise ship do you prefer? That's a big one. How many people are going to be joining your group? And do you want to tack on any premium activities or dining experiences or excursions or seminars? Again, lots to consider. I'm going to try to give a couple of generalized cruise price ranges for each season for a family of 4, including 2 adults and 2 kids, to give you a little springboard for what to expect. But keep in mind that there are so many different ways to cruise that could impact that total price point. So your final asking price may be way different from what I'm showing you today, but at least we got a jump off point. Lower cruise prices for a family of 4 tend to range around the $3,500 mark, which is what we're seeing for 3-night Bahamian cruises from Port Canaveral aboard the Disney Wish on September 6th to the 9th. Meanwhile, higher prices for the same family could quadruple that amount if you decide to take like a 12-night Norwegian Fjords and Iceland cruise from Southampton aboard the Disney Dream from July 24th to August 5th, where your lowest priced room is going to be $17,000 and your highest priced room is going to be $45,000. But we'll get more into the price points later on in this video, so stay tuned. Now, you can always browse Disney's full cruise list via their website and toggle specific cruise filters into the search bar that'll better suit your specific cruising criteria. That way, you can get an even better idea of how much you're going to need to budget for. Now, one thing that's true about all Disney cruises are the things that each stateroom price includes. So with your purchase, you're going to be receiving not just a room and a vacation destination, but also tons of dining options and room service, get that soft serve and stock up on chicken tenders, Broadway caliber shows, a fireworks spectacular on select sailings, access to youth and teen clubs and child services. Note that some things like the nursery are an additional cost. Nightclubs and lounges, pools, recreation areas, movie theaters, games, and lots of family activities. Now, next tip you need to know before you book, you want to book in advance. Now, I'll keep this one short and sweet. The earlier you book your cruise, the lower your cruising rates are going to be, generally speaking. So keep in mind that the cruise prices you might be looking at now for a cruise in, say, August could change in just a few months' time to be even higher than before. Honestly, you could even start looking into booking a cruise for early 2025 if you want to. Not only will an early booking typically give you a lower asking price, but it'll also increase your choice of staterooms too, since they tend to fill up closer to your sail date, leaving you with whatever's left over, which may not have been what you had in mind. Next thing you need to know before you book, let Disney help you break down the payments. Another great reason to book sooner rather than later is you can pace out your cruise payments however you see fit. You'll be required to put down a deposit when booking, but if you book early enough, you'll be able to pay down the remainder of your balance over time in a way that works best for your budget. Disney Cruise Line even has a flexible planning payment calculator on its website that can help you break down your total cruise cost into bite-sized payments. You'll find it when searching for cruises on the site. When viewing a particular cruise, click on Rate and Room Details at the bottom, and from there, a sidebar window will pop up showing more information about the selected cruise. Scroll down and you'll see the flexible planning payment calculator right there for your calculating pleasure. And next thing you want to know before you sail, ask for help. You don't have to do all this cruise planning by yourself. Our friends over at Small World Vacations can also help you book your Disney cruise. Their services are free, and they're going to do their very best to stay within your cruising budget while also scoring you a few savings opportunities. If you want to reach out for a free quote, I'll put their link down in the description for you. And they may even have some free onboard credit for you that they can include with your cruise booking. Okay, are you ready to set sail? Here we go. We're going to talk about winter first. Welcome to the start of the new year. January and February may not feel like cruising season for some, but for others, it's an absolute perfect time to board a megaship and travel to some far-off destination. Even if your ship is departing from a place that's usually pretty warm and tropical, like Port Canaveral, Florida, for instance, the winter season can still hit you with that cold snap, so be sure to bring lots of warm layers like sweatshirts, coats, woolly socks, leggings, and hot hands for those particularly chillier nights and chillier overseas destinations. And still bring your swimsuit too, just in case you want to take a dip. There are hot tubs on the ship, after all, that you might want to take advantage of. The Australian and New Zealand cruises aboard the Disney Wonder are going to sail through January and February, since the seasons over there are the opposite of what you'll experience in the States, making winter feel like more summer. Just keep in mind that these cruises all depart from Australia and New Zealand too, so you're going to have to look up flight prices and overseas accommodations as well if you want to pull this one off. Now, tropical overseas destinations like the Bahamas can still be fairly warm during the winter, with average temperatures in the 70s and 80s, so be sure your warm layers are easily sheddable if things start to heat up. A winter cruise might be the perfect time for you to try out the Senses Spa, especially on those cooler days at sea. The spa is an adults-only experience and is available aboard every ship, but it does cost extra to experience. You can book a specific spa treatment ahead of your trip, or you can buy a day pass once you're on board and skip having a treatment altogether and just experience the different spa offerings on your own time. That's what I like to do. I do that every cruise. Now, if you've got a teen in your group, you may want to cruise with the Disney Dream, Fantasy, or Magic so they can check out the exclusive teens-only Chill Spa. The premium spa has a unique space with treatment rooms and showers and a menu of services tailor-made for their relaxation and pampering needs, including facials and massages, body treatments, manicures, and pedicures. All right, let's put the relaxing on pause for just a second and switch over to party mode. Pixar Day at Sea just debuted on the Disney Fantasy in January 2023, but it's coming back in 2024. If you're on one of these select cruises, you'll get a day-long celebration to hang out with some of your favorite Pixar characters, enjoy some Pixar-themed entertainment, even eat some Pixar-themed food. There's a breakfast with Woody and all his friends, a fun pool party, and a Pixar Pals celebration dance party to end the day. Pixar Day at Sea will be offered on the following 7-night Caribbean cruises on the Disney Fantasy sailing from Port Canaveral, Florida. Any cruises that feature this specialty event will be labeled clearly on the website, so be on the lookout for their little character emblems to know which cruises are going to be Pixar ones. Marvel Day at Sea is also returning in 2024. This one-day celebration is all about Marvel and will include fan-favorite superheroes like the Avengers, Guardians of the Galaxy, Captain America Sam Wilson, Mighty Thor, Black Panther Shuri, Scarlet Witch, and more. There'll also be a deck show with more than 30 characters and family game shows and special youth activities. Marvel Day at Sea is being offered on 10 5-night Caribbean cruises sailing from Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Notice that you'll also have a couple of chances to experience these specialty cruises when March rolls around, but only at the very beginning of March. After that, we'll have to wait and see if any more of these Pixar and Marvel parties will pop up for future cruises later on. So how much will these specialty cruises cost? Well, a 5-night Western Caribbean Marvel Day at Sea cruise from January 21st to 26th, departing from Fort Lauderdale aboard the Disney Dream, is going to range in price between $4,800 and $5,000. But if we bump that up to a 7-night stay for Pixar Day at Sea, which will take you to the Eastern Caribbean instead from Port Canaveral aboard the Disney Fantasy, you're looking at the lowest price point being around $6,000 and the highest price point around $25,000 if you decide to go with a concierge-level stateroom. Moving on to the spring. As far as we know, Disney Cruise Line is going to keep things pretty chill during the spring unless they drop some sort of big news on us all of a sudden, which could definitely happen. So we're not going to see any big parties or specialty cruises or shiny brand new offerings during this season. However, spring could still end up being the perfect time for you to cruise, depending on where you want to go. In March and April, the Caribbean cruise season can be a popular one thanks to the weather alone and spring breaks and kids getting out of school early. Not only are temperatures nice and warm and not miserably sticky, but you're also going to be traveling in the middle of the Caribbean's dry season, when big rainfall or threat of a hurricane is not going to be nearly as big of a concern that could interrupt your cruise. Not saying it'll never be a concern, it's just way less likely during this time. Meanwhile, Alaska experiences its shoulder or slower season in May, since schools aren't yet officially out for the summer, meaning travel crowds aren't as heavy. Many of Alaska's excursions will also be discounted around this time of year, so you'll definitely want to look into your available cheaper options. In Alaska, things are still pretty chilly during May, with temps averaging around 45 to 50 degrees daily. So again, pack up your suitcase with plans to bundle up. Now, on those chilly days at sea, when you're planning on staying inside the ship most of the day, be sure to check out what's on the daily itinerary via your Disney Cruise Line Navigator app. The daily onboard listings there are going to give you a chance to fill your day with sketch classes and trivia competitions and bingo games and movie listings and so many other activities that are good for everybody in your family. In fact, while you're browsing all the different activities on your Navigator app, go ahead and tap the heart next to the ones you're most interested in. That way, the Navigator app can save your must-dos and remind you when they're getting ready to happen, so you don't accidentally forget about them and miss out. Now, let's talk pricing for spring. For a 4-night Western Caribbean cruise from New Orleans aboard the Disney Magic between March 1st and 5th, prices range between $3,200 to $4,500, while a 7-night Alaskan cruise from Vancouver aboard the Disney Wonder between May 13th and 20th has starting prices at $5,700 for inside staterooms and peak prices of $16,000 plus for concierge. If you don't mind taking a one-way cruise, the Disney Wonder can also drop you off in Canada if you like. A 4-night Pacific Coast cruise from San Diego ending in Vancouver aboard the Disney Wonder from May 8th to the 12th is going to run you about $2,800 to $4,200 or $6,700 if you go the concierge route. All right, launching into summer. Summer of 2024 is going to be a big one for Disney Cruise Line because on June 6th, Disney's going to start taking passengers out to its newest private island destination, Lookout Cay at Lighthouse Point. Lookout Cay is going to be a lot like Disney's other private island, Castaway Cay, except it'll feature a lot more cultural artistry to amplify the rich culture of Bahamian life, with native flora, Junkanoo parade pageantry, and lots of bright saturated hues throughout the area. And of course, expect more white sandy beaches, water play areas, island excursions, and all-inclusive food. The only ships that are going to Lookout Cay so far include the Disney Magic, the Disney Dream, and the Fantasy, so you'll want to go ahead and start looking to book one of those cruises super soon if you want to be one of the first passengers out on this island destination. Speaking of booking soon, summer is a super popular time for Disney Cruise Line, so expect those staterooms to book up fast. While cruises and cruise destinations can be poppin' during the summer season with tourists galore, those white sandy beaches that you'll find over in the Caribbeans and Bahamas are hard to pass up. Just keep in mind it's going to be very hot, so pack plenty of sunscreen, reusable water bottles, cooling towels, and sunglasses to prepare yourself for those mighty intense rays. Also, if you want to check out the pools aboard the ship before they're packed out with other passengers, plan to wake up earlier and hit them up before breakfast for a much more relaxing experience before they sort of become people soup for the rest of the day. The water slides and coasters aboard the ship can also experience some super long lines when the sun is sweltering, so you're going to want to check and find out when exactly these rides are going to open each day via your Navigator app because it does change. Typically speaking, the rides tend to open around 9 or 10 a.m. during your days out at sea and more around noon or 1 p.m. when you're in a port of call. Now, here's a couple pieces of advice for those water coasters. Hit up the water coasters first thing on embarkation day if you can. While many folks will find their way over to the all-you-can-eat buffet to get a head start on their all-inclusive dining, the water slides and coasters will open up and be more of a walk-on experience instead of a 30 to 45-minute wait. So make sure you've got your swimwear on under your regular clothes so you can make a beeline to the slides and kick off your trip on a high note. If that doesn't work for you, I can also highly recommend riding those water coasters during the dinner/show hours at night because everybody's either at dinner or the show, and then all of those people switch, and the ones who are at the show go to dinner, and the ones who are at dinner go to the show. So if you can finish up dinner real fast and you don't really care about the show, go ride the water coasters. They're going to be a lot less crowded during that time frame. Now, I hate to break it to you, but the hot temperatures aren't going to be the only thing you have to worry about during a summer cruise. Hurricane season for the Caribbeans and Bahamas runs from June to November, with late August to early September usually being when you're going to see the peak of that hurricane activity. Now, don't stress about this prematurely. It doesn't mean you're absolutely 100% going to run into a storm during your cruise if you book one around this time. You're just going to want to keep an eye on the extended forecast and keep that possibility in mind. So, in other words, prepare for the worst and anticipate the best. Worst comes to worst, Disney will give you a full refund on your cruise if conditions are too dangerous to sail, and you can use that money toward a different cruise on a different sail date that'll have fewer treacherous conditions. And then there are the European cruises you can book throughout the summer too. European cruises aboard the Disney Dream tend to run from May and until September, with departing ports including Barcelona, Rome, and Southampton. During these cruises, you're going to find yourself sailing around the British Isles, the impressive fjords of Scandinavia, or taking full excursions to places like Spain, Italy, and the French Riviera. The main downside of taking a European Disney cruise is that there is so much to see in each of these places and only a limited amount of time to take in as much as possible before you're required to hop back on the ship and sail away again. Once you know where your cruise is taking you, be sure to research different must-dos around each area before you head out so you know exactly where you want to visit and aren't caught like a deer in the headlights, overwhelmed by all the possibilities. You can also choose to expand your Disney cruise escapades by booking an Adventures by Disney Escape, which is going to extend your vacation before or after you cruise with an onshore journey, allowing for extra time to unwind and take in all the European sights that you didn't get to see during your brief day at port. Okay, all you summertime sailors, let's take a look at some of those price points. While Lookout Key's preview cruises at the beginning of June are booking up fast, you can still currently find a few ocean view rooms available for a 3-night cruise aboard the Disney Magic out of Fort Lauderdale for around $4,700. But if you'd rather have more stateroom choices available to you to choose from, you can look into booking a cruise to Lookout Key in July or August instead. The cheapest summer rates to Lookout Key that I've seen so far are listed toward the end of August. You can sail on a 4-night Bahamian cruise between August 26th and 30th from Fort Lauderdale aboard, again, the Disney Magic, and still see Lookout Key for as low as $3,300. For a European cruise, you can still find cheaper rates around August. A 3-night Belgium cruise from Southampton from August 16th to the 19th aboard the Disney Dream is going to cost around $4,400 for a stateroom with a veranda, or $100 less if you're okay with just an ocean view minus the private deck. But if you're on the prowl for a week-long getaway, your cheapest option is going to be a 7-night Mediterranean with Greek Isles cruise from Civitavecchia, which is basically Rome, also aboard the Disney Dream, from June 10th to the 17th, with prices ranging around $9,700 to $10,900. All right, moving into fall, Disney cruises pick back up with the party scene once fall rolls around. They do these because they want to get more people on the ships, right? This is an incentive to sail when most people don't. Anyway, this time of year, there are even bigger parties and extravaganzas. First, we start off with Halloween on the High Seas, which starts up in mid-September and runs until Halloween. The event transforms your Disney cruise into a spooky voyage with special Halloween decorations throughout the ship and themed music during your sailing. During this party, you can take part in the Mickey's Masquerade Party, a costume party complete with trick-or-treat trails. You can watch a nighttime show featuring that classic Sleepy Hollow antagonist, the Headless Horseman. You can enter an adults-only costume contest, meet exclusive Halloween characters like Jack Skellington or Daisy, Minnie, and Clarabelle Cow dressed as the Sanderson sisters from Hocus Pocus. And you can just immerse yourself in the Halloween spirit with tons of extra not-so-scary activities all cruise long. When Thanksgiving week is upon us, select sailings celebrate Thanksgiving at sea. That hooks you up with a full-course traditional turkey dinner and live football broadcasts throughout the entire ship, because what better way to root for your team than by doing it hundreds of miles across the ocean? What makes Thanksgiving at sea extra special, though, is that it overlaps with the Very Merry Time cruise season, starting up at the beginning of November and lasting until Christmas. Very Merry Time cruises feature lots of holiday crafts and goodies and Santa Claus sightings, because Santa deserves a little R&R before delivering all those toys around the world. In 2023, the Very Merry Time cruises debuted a brand new tree lighting ceremony where passengers gathered around the 3-deck tall tree in the atrium with Mickey, Minnie, and Goofy as everyone sang along to classic holiday tunes. There were even a couple of special jolly guests in attendance. I'll give you 3 guesses as to who they might have been, and the first 2 don't count. Another brand new holiday offering introduced in 2023 was Mickey and Minnie's Holiday Party on the upper decks. This celebration was filled with tidings of good cheer and featured favorite Disney friends with a fresh mix of classic and original holiday songs. That's Disney's PR language. We did like it, though. It was really fun. And of course, when you take a holiday cruise, the entire ship will be decked out. Oh my goodness, Bria, the funniest jokes in here. In holiday decor, and there will be plenty of holiday merchandise and activities to explore. There's treats too. We tried some really, really yummy Merry treats at Vanellope's on our cruise. Even though we're talking about a time where leaves start falling and snow starts sprinkling, temperatures are still going to be pretty toasty at the beginning of the fall season for those more tropical ports of call, but they'll cool down later on in the season, specifically when we get into the month of November. Get this, some of your cheapest cruise rates are going to fall around the start time that Halloween on the high seas is happening, so that's a win-win if you love Halloween. You can sail on the Disney Magic for a 3-night Bahamian cruise from Fort Lauderdale between September 20th and 23rd for around $2,700. Even the rooms with the additional verandas can be cheaper than what you'll find the rest of the year, with staterooms costing around $3,200. Want to celebrate Christmas and Thanksgiving aboard the Disney Wish? You can take a 3-night Bahamian cruise from Port Canaveral on November 22nd to 25th for around $3,800 to $4,200, or double that if you want to travel concierge style. Australian and New Zealand cruises start back up around October, and get this, you can do a cheaper 2-night Disney Magic at Sea cruise from Sydney ending in Brisbane aboard the Disney Wonder on October 20th to the 22nd for as low as $1,600. Even staying concierge, it's only going to put you back about $2,900, but again, that's because this is a super short cruise that only goes one way, so lots of pros and cons to consider before you book, plus you're going to have to spend about $20,000 on the flight to get over there. And the holidays are here. We're still in major holiday mode once we reach the last month of 2024, but there's a lot more to celebrate during December next year than just Christmas alone. December is the inaugural sailing for Disney Cruise Line's 6th ship in the fleet, the Disney Treasure. The Treasure's going to set sail for the first time ever on December 21st, 2024. While the Disney Wish is known as Disney's Castle on the Seas, the Disney Treasure will celebrate Walt Disney's lifelong love of adventure. Here, we'll be able to enjoy new offerings like the Disney Park attraction-themed lounges, Skipper Society, Haunted Mansion Parlor, and Periscope Pub. You can eat at a brand new dinner theater restaurant called Plaza de Coco. You can watch the newest Broadway-style musical, The Tale of Moana. Try an ice cream over at Jumbo's Sweets, themed after Disney's Zootopia. And of course, there's just going to be so much more. Seriously, there's going to be a lot more going on throughout the Disney Treasure. And if you want to learn about everything that we know so far, I'll go ahead and link our Disney Treasure post from the DFB website down in the description for you. Now that I've talked your ear off about the Treasure, let's get back to the holidays, okay? The closer you get to Christmas time, the more expensive the Very Merry Time cruises are going to get. So just keep that in mind while you're planning out your budget. Or if you want to wait to take a cruise after the Christmas season, you might just be able to book a stateroom aboard one of the ships that'll be going out on a New Year's Eve cruise. During the New Year's Eve cruises, you'll be able to eat a specialty New Year's Eve dinner, then go out on the top deck to ring in 2025 with a countdown and epic fireworks display. 2025 seems so far away, but then again, 2024 snuck up on us like a ninja, and I'm sure 2025 will do the same. As far as temperatures are concerned, things are looking a little chilly again come December, so pack those jackets and scarves and spirit jerseys for those cooler mornings and brisk nights. But I know what you really want to know right now. How much is that maiden voyage aboard the Disney Treasure going to cost? Well, a lot. It's going to cost a lot. The first sailing aboard the Disney Treasure will be a 7-night Eastern Caribbean cruise from Port Canaveral between December 21st and 28th. Then prices start at $14,500. Yeah, that's the price of an inside stateroom. If you want an ocean view or veranda stateroom, you're looking at paying around $16,000 to $17,000. And while going on the first ever Treasure cruise does sound fun, that's a real steep asking price right there. Fortunately, the prices do start to drop a bit after that initial sailing. In 2025, you can take a similar Disney Treasure cruise, a 7-night Western Caribbean cruise from Port Canaveral, from January 25th to February 1st for around $6,000 to $8,000 instead. Literally almost an $8,000 difference right there, so it might be worth waiting just a month or two after the inaugural sailing to book your trip. It might also be worth choosing a different overseas destination too, since so far the Western Caribbean tends to have cheaper Disney Treasure cruise prices than the Eastern Caribbean. Okay, we did it. We sailed aboard all 6 Disney cruise ships to so many different destinations for every season of 2024. Good job. Continue checking back with us as we get into the new year and beyond, since we'll be doing plenty more Disney Cruise Line planning videos in the future. And don't forget to grab our free Disney Cruise Ultimate Guide over at disneyfoodblog.com/cruise planning before you sail away. Thanks for listening, everyone, and thanks for watching. As always, this is AJ for Disney Food Blog, and we'll see you real soon.